Why is it that we're drawn to authentic people like magnets? It's almost unexplainable how there's this invisible pull towards people who aren't looking to chameleon mood shift around our personality and our opinions. In fact, for those that do this, there's nothing more socially repelling. And involuntarily, we interact with businesses in the same exact way. And if you're unsure that you do this, by the end of this video, you'll know.
Inspiring a new business mind for art, life, and marketing.
I hate to be the one to break this, but if you're watching, I think it's important you know as a business owner just how deeply the psychology of our personality affects the success of our business. Trust me, I refuse to sit here and use my words to create another piece of clickbait that appeals to the business owners who are struggling to sustain. Which is still hard for me to accept is 95% of us. And if you didn't know, 95% of businesses fail within the first 5 years, and a staggering 50% fail within the first year alone. There's a humbling sadness to that statistic. I've been there, and during that time, I too fell victim to a deep-rooted cognitive programming, a flaw that I was unaware of that slowly limited my potential at realizing something I blindly believed was my destiny to fulfill. But after surrendering to the reality of my own self-sabotaging failure, I learned something very profound that nobody is daring to talk about. What you're searching for to realize that dream of yours has nothing to do with your business acumen, how many top 10 business success strategies you've studied or watched online, or even how much you continue to think you need more investment capital to unlock some new level of financial breakthrough. Tragically, success doesn't equate to how much energy you drain into your work either. Seemingly, while everyone appears to be enjoying something that you can't quite obtain, the harshest truth is, and this one's gonna sting, it doesn't even matter if the product or service you sell is any good. The success metric goes even deeper down the rabbit hole than you think, and it requires of you a willingness to explore the depths of this darkness if you ever plan on resurfacing to change your fate. When you've stopped blaming people, money, and time, you're forced to reflect inward with an uncomfortable aloneness that allows you to realize something very valuable. And yes, this pertains to you because it revolves around an underlying human condition trait that we all share. We all want to be accepted. We all want to be loved and interconnected to the collective energy of our community, and with the world being that it's now at our fingertips online. Ironically, it takes an exhausting separation away from these desires to truly realize how hardwired this powerful influence is and the control it has over us. This is a very real survival safety mechanism, and as it should be, it's built into our primitive origin of mind evolution. But if you really step back and look at these autopilot behaviors, we're still clearly subconsciously relying on a dysfunctional dependence to our early tribe mentality to think and act on our behalf. So this raises a very important question that may be hard for some people to process. What if this unified oneness we desperately yearn for has the potential to be used against us and become something defeating in our pursuits of achieving our wildest ambitions? I hope this widens your field of vision to reveal a very uncomfortable perspective on social psychology. What if the pure nature of a shared viewpoint is just to feel accepted? What if our reliance on one another's wisdom is an attempt to strengthen our fallible identity with a superficial sense of unity and connection? It's clear this outdated instinctive animal reflex, given the landscape of our current digital age, stage is set to defer to a very detached populace around us to help us form our opinions. So we reach blindly outward out of intuition, only to be confronted by a cesspool of life hack formulas presented by every computer savvy YouTuber and self-help company attempting to get rich off of us as we consume their content, unaware that their true motive is to convince you they know something you don't, while you enjoy the ad programming, strategic product placement, and or help me go viral by subscribing call to actions. These are real people, so they know firsthand what the demand is, and then it needs to be supplied with something that you need to hear. Because like yourself, we all know that people would rather rely on the subservience to regurgitated formulas and the ease of retrofitted trends rather than going rogue and turning inward to their own original thoughts and inspirations. This is the disconnect that few are talking about, and I presume you know exactly why. Guilt. There's an obvious collective guilt that we've been lugging around with us for generations. I believe we're very aware of when and how we sold out to our own original story, either through our business endeavors, childlike passions, or at the basic level of forming our own opinions for that matter. We know deep down to what degree our authenticity has been compromised. This is the reason why people who've managed to separate from the limitations of this mind matrix are traditionally a bit more unorthodox by social standards and come across as mad until they're praised by their peers as genius innovators. When we see people like this, we all watch and acutely know they've managed to risk enough of their own sanity to regain a very coveted cognitive independence. They have their own voice, their own formulas for success, and their own self-derived purpose. We see it clearly in every word they say, and what do? Instead of recognizing that we too can free ourselves in the same fashion, we choose to play it safe, minimize risk, and attempt to copy their formula. To be that close to a catalyst of authenticity, one that could help us awaken to our own free thinking superpowers, only to revert back to implementing another cookie cutter hack that guarantees to increase sales or create financial freedom. I'm sure you could recall seeing, clicking, and reading millions of these headlines. The very reason why I've dedicated my craft to provide an essential creative intervention to both professionally facilitate and liberate the originality of my client's brand story. With a career spanning over 20 years, climbing the corporate ladder at some considerably esteemed marketing agencies, which are nothing more than hospitals pretty much for companies looking to restore pulse to their business, I was introduced to thousands of business to owner relationships that closely resembled that of a dysfunctional marriage. And I know that's a strange metaphor, but we've all painfully seen one, where on the exterior the company would, appear to be glowing under the right lights, but with a bit more exposure, you can tell the love was gone, or maybe the love was never there to begin with. Looking back, it was obvious the creators of these companies had built their dreams on the same flawed codependency foundation as I did, and couldn't find their way back out of the rabbit hole to restore the originality that once fueled their ambitions, which ultimately lit the fuse to a single motivation that would drive me to step away from perpetuating the same canned marketing messages before founding the Los Angeles-based cinematic marketing and brand story production company Creative Doorway in 2014. Anyone who knocks is welcome. Those that step through never return the same.
Continue to learn and grow with the community of art, life and marketing by subscribing to our channel to view our weekly instructional series videos.